There we go. No audio. Can you guys hear me now? You should be able to hear me now. So I just retoggled the sound. It looks like it was off. It was looking for my microphone, my clip-on mic. I had that turned off, so you guys should be able to see and hear me now. So we got in at around 10:30, 11 o'clock on the ship. We've seen Tron Black already from Ravencoin, lead developer. We got Doug coming over from Mango Farms. Anybody familiar with Doug's work with the ICE wallet and with Ravencoin IPFS, and then some of the work that they're doing. We don't have Adam Assets here. I wish he was here. They're working on a lot of the content when it comes to like metaverse stuff and like 3D NFT stuff that you can explore in VR. But we will probably get into those conversations. I can't wait, man. This is going to be finally a good discussion with developers on, UTXO based proof of work mining coin. Now that we've lost the ability to do Ethereum on mining and really can now focus on these other proof of work coins with the effort in, mining and development. Try to get some development community members in this community of seeing what they can do. I mean, expanding UTXO development in general, that being the core baseline of what Bitcoin is also. So a lot of the stuff, that the efforts that are being done with Ravencoin can also be done with Bitcoin for you Bitcoin developers out there, people that really are, mainly just focused on Bitcoin. A lot of the efforts that are being done on the Ravencoin platform can be transferred over to Bitcoin too, and there's a sharing of activity. So, I think that's really what it comes down to. Development, utility, what people can do is really where this stuff comes from. And I can finally see that you guys are chatting, so that's awesome. It fades in and out based on when people talk, I think, though. But if you guys have questions, what I would like on this video today is we're going to have a live stream. Well, we'll try to do a live stream if we have internet that's sustainable out there. But I would like to do a fireside chat with Tron and Doug that are developing in this space for Ravencoin, and just have a really good candid conversation with them. I know we're going to talk Evermore. There's a lot of folks that have questions with that airdrop and how that's functioning, and there's like a 60-day window for that. We'll get into that, and then we'll talk during a bear market, what do you do? What's the community do? How does development work? How do development dollars get allocated? That kind of thing I want to talk about. So, there's a lot going on in this space. I know that's what people say, but I want to show people what's going on in this space. So people that are actually doing some of the development and stuff. So on this video, if you guys can ask questions in the chat and on the comments on the video, it allows me to kind of go through that, and we'll bring those questions up. I'll call your name out on the question when we go through that fireside chat with Tron and Doug and all the developers that are here for the Ravencoin cruise. So make sure that if you do have some questions, and it isn't like, hey, wind, moon, that kind of stuff. So it's more like relevant to, if you're an artist and you're in the space, you don't know where to start, resources, that kind of thing to get started, for like NFTs as an example, that kind of stuff is pretty big. So we're saying that the sound is gone again. Are you sure he just hasn't caught up? You guys can't hear me? Maybe it's his sound. Yeah, I'm showing a good read on the sound. Just lost some, no sound. Let's see here. You guys have the sound now?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Click back to this side and see. There is no mute audio on this. Yeah, no, I'm looking at the thing. It's showing that I have a good sound meter.
Time says it was in the middle just now.
It was just a little blip, a little blip.
You didn't say it was back.
Oh. Well, yeah, I'm showing that we still have good sound. And I mean, showing that I'm holding about 29 frames per second, full signal, 600 kilobits per second. I'm on 5G ultra wide. Should be good to
Oh,
go.
it says it's back. You're good.
It could have been just like when I'm back behind the ship here. So
You get under the metal.
if I get under the metal, so let me give you guys a perspective of what's going on here. So we're on a balcony. You can see I'm right underneath like one of the sky this little bow out here. It's kind of like a little shelf above me. Oh, somebody's smoking some ganja. Oh, that's some good stuff. I can smell it from here.
Oh my gosh.
Get that whiff? It's coming from down there because that's the way the wind's coming, so good on you, sir. Where are you at? There is some. Yeah, the video should be crystal clear. It's a pretty good setup here. And I'm on the Google Pixel, the new Google Pixel, so it should be a pretty sharp video. Hopefully, I mean it's showing them I had this set for 30 frames per second, not 60. 60 would have been a little extra. Is this out of Fort Lauderdale? No, this is Miami. So what you're seeing is Miami. We'll go back to this. So this is kind of like where the coastal road, or not the coastal road, the kind of inland road that takes you out to the cruise ports. And then you got, Miami proper. Kind of behind us, actually. Miami proper's on the other side.
Yeah,
Behind us. So this is just kind of the outer edge.
Can you see the guy on the board? He's straight out again in front of us.
Let's see here. Yeah, there's some people doing some surfing.
Some kind of motorized surfboard.
Some kind of motorized surfboard. I don't know if I can zoom in.
In the party boats.
See if we can find this guy. You guys should be able to see him out there. This Pixel's got a pretty good zoom. That's one of those motorized, like wakeboards. Hopefully it's not too pixelated. He's kind of zipping through the bay there on that. It's always fun. I have to pinch the screen to bring it back out. A little bit of traffic going out to Miami Beach. Whoop. Yeah, that's the way into South Beach.
Oh, he fell off the board. He's trying to get back on there.
All right, anyways, my dudes, those are the sites. So, yeah, we're going to be finding a time to kind of sit down. I brought all the podcast equipment with me for we could have a good discussion on just all things Ravencoin, kind of what's going on with this airdrop on Evermore. I know there's some questions with that, like how do you claim it? You have like 60 days to claim it. And then just like what's the future? What's 23 look like? You know, we're post-halving. Ravencoin's at 2,500 coins per block. We're going to be that way for a little over 3 years. Like, what's the community development space look like? There's a really good infographic I reshared out on Twitter on kind of all of the different entities out there. You know, I have quite a few folks that reach out regularly and ask, hey, I'm a developer in this space. I mean, it's been unbelievable this last like 6 months, the amount of people that have reached out about on the development space. The capital, if you're has a lot of good open source, you know, the FOSS community in general, making contributions, asking questions, learning, and then maybe getting onto a team, and then it ends up being a funded position in this space, and then seeing, you know, how does that look from like, you know, the Ravencoin UTXO standpoint, which is, you know, it's just the way the structure and the coding and the you know, how you contribute to this space within that. And then what's that next layer on top, like if you're doing stuff that Doug's doing when it comes to like Mango Farms and building wallets, and, you know, there's multiple standards of wallets, you know, if you look at all the different, you know, BIP 32, you know, 48, I mean, there's all these different implementation strategies on features, and not all of them are, you know, cross compatible and stuff like that. So folks that are into like wallet development and adding features to a wallet, Tron and I had a really good discussion right before when we first got on the boat here. We were just talking about like what's been going on in the community when it comes to like censorship and OFAC with like the Tornado Cash stuff and Ethereum, and having discussions with that, and like how do you prevent like people dusting you, and like you can't, and so like how does that affect, like if it affects your taxable income, or is to, you know, get away from just, you know, it's really hard to nail down anybody, and when you're busy with life and you have family and kids and just the day-to-day grind that we all have, that's what something like this cruise is for, is that, you know, we want to get around like-minded folks that are trying to build in this space, are you know, part of the industry, and, you know, of if it's just a open source developer and you're just trying to find, you know, some, you know, community development opportunities, that kind of thing, all the way to, you know, you're an industry person and you're trying to, you know, figure out the best partnerships to help grow what you're trying to build. Like, how do you kind of lock in and have conversations with folks and try to figure out what's next, or who to build with, that kind of thing. So things like this Ravencoin cruise is kind of set up for something like that, to where you can sit down and just, you know, have conversations, and some of that will, you know, we'll have a stream on, some of it that we'll record and then just, you know, put out there, because we won't have the network connection to be able to live stream it. But, you know, bring some of that stuff with you guys. This is the same kind of stuff as like Satoshi Roundtable, that kind of stuff, where you can have kind of an unfiltered conversation that then may lead to some new development opportunities, and circumstantially that provides a, you know, a network effect or a network value proposition for one of the coins that we're talking about, in this case Ravencoin, right? So it's hard to get any of us locked down for, you know, any moment of time, right? So this is that opportunity. This is 7 days on a cruise. Some of the stuff we don't have network access to, we can just sit there and have those conversations, and I highly recommend it. I mean, we went last year to this and had a fantastic time. Like, fantastic. This was like the way to do it. I'll give you guys this side of it, because it's the ocean that way. But have like an opportunity just to spend hours, and you know, you get a couple drinks, or if you don't drink, that's fine. You know, you just kind of hang out with everybody in a various without being interrupted, because we're all busy as hell. Like, everybody's busy, right? So, what do you guys got question-wise? I've been going for about 16 minutes. Do you guys have any questions on what you guys would like to ask Tron or Doug or any of the team? Like, you know, put them down in there, and I'll get them asked when we're once we set sail here. Let's see some of the port in Miami Beach behind me. See what you guys got. Then we'll wrap this one up, because this is just kind of like a check-in, set sail stream.
We made it.
We made it stream.
On a boat.
We are on a boat. Let's see if I can bring up your guys' questions. Let's see here, chat. You headed to Key West, or no? This goes to San Juan.
Yep. And then St. Martin.
St. Martin.
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas, and then Coco Cay.
Keep an eye on the tropical depression forming over San Juan, because that's gonna be us.
Yeah, we might run into a tropical depression. With 11 cent in Florida, net income would be negative 93 cents a day as Raven. It's just a bit of a spot buy. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. That's a great question. Anybody that's curious, you got to look at your power rates. You got to look at what kind of equipment you have. And if you have a situation where your equipment isn't profitable right now, you got to make a decision. And like what we've done, like with the BBT farm and that, a lot of the machines that we have are turned off. The GPUs, it just doesn't make sense to run them right now because there is an excessive amount of GPUs on all of these networks. If we're talking Ravencoin, we're talking ETC, we're talking on it. So I've seen some pretty confident sources that show that looks like we have there's some FPGAs on Ergo. I mean, it's not orders of magnitude, but it's enough to where if there's enough FPGAs out there, it would debalance some of the GPU mining. FPGAs can be, can really kind of offset some of it if it's orders of magnitude. Typically, it's like one or two, orders when it comes to the performance versus the power that you're spending. Says selling the world's largest polluting machines, cruise liners. Don't want to hear people talk about how bad the mining environment is. Hey, it is funny. We were actually talking about, how much diesel these things use and how most of, like the U.S. military fleet uses not diesel. They use nuclear. And it's like we have the technology stack to optimize like our use of things, but it's like this like responsibility thing mixed with probably some politics in there, mixed with just a safety concern in general when it comes to like trying to use nuclear. But like these ships have more than enough expertise, and you could have the expertise to turn these things to nuclear. I'm surprised they don't run nuclear reactors on these things. I mean, I just have, if they have to embed with like Department of Homeland or something to like help them run it or something, and it's a subsidized government thing, who knows, right? Like where the government's not paying for it, the companies are paying for it, but they put nuclear reactors in these things. It would probably make a lot more sense. You can go 5+ years on a nuclear reactor, not spend any fuel, right? You're just cooking water and creating a lot of steam and moving the boat, right? So that's the way the aircraft carriers work and everything else. They should be using that. So I hear you. I don't like to get into a lot of the ESG comments just because, or the statements, just because like I look at it like if you look at the totality of the requirement. So if we're talking battery technology, lithium, anybody who looks at any kind of lithium production, MIT put out a really good breakdown on how much earth has to be moved, and the machines that move that earth and separate, and then some of the just human rights stuff that happens with like cobalt mining, extraction and stuff on just lithium batteries. Like like the whole system needs to be reviewed, right? So it's kind of like I put a lot of that ESG stuff off to the side and say, yes, we need to do better. We have the technology stack to do better. Now it's just a matter of like how does the politics meet like the requirement and intent to make it better, like we make good decisions, right? So it's a huge it's like boil the ocean kind of conversation. Lithium's a whole other can of worms, says Mr. Green. I think the question and the discussion needs to be had. It needs to be understood on what the how do you get there, and those kind of conversations hopefully get to a place to where we can start to make right decisions on just across the board. Like, you have a baseline right now, and then as new things get created, new things take a better consideration to those things, and then it's an attrition thing over time. But we could get into that's a whole can of worms, my dudes. And I'm not, like, I would say very dialed into being a speaker on behalf of, like, ESG related things. I study and read a lot of this subject to try to understand it, like a lot of I would say a lot of people do. I think it all comes back down to the sources of where you can find that information. I like the MIT puts out a lot of good content related to this, because they are an institution that by and large the world looks up to, and they have some pretty straight up figures on, like, just how a lot of the things that we do on this planet are not good, but there are paths to good, right? So I don't know, I would say just get resourced and researched in that subject, and then I think that would help you guys kind of get there, understand it better. Oh, I fired up everybody. Everybody has comments on this. Yeah, I mean, it's a hot topic, my dudes. Like, ESG and just the world climate and stuff. It's a hot topic right now. I'll tell you what, though, man, Miami. Every time I come here, it's just so much is getting built here right now. Like, there's so many new high-rises coming up. A lot of people moving to Florida.
I gotta go listen to the message.
That's the cruise director. Well, the captain, actually. We are setting sail at, like, right now, actually, pretty soon here.
Hey,
so it's...
Tell people if they ever been on a cruise, do the safety briefing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're still waiting for people to do the safety briefing. We should be getting out setting sail right now, but people haven't done their safety briefing yet. So a lot of these are like I forgot what they call this road right here, but you can see there's a bridge right here, and it takes you into this neighborhood, and there's a lot of celebrity and up to that bridge and then back, and there's Drake and Jay-Z. A whole bunch of people live on that island, and then people bring their nice boats and park it right here and just swim. They have a mustard drill, so you have to understand, like, where you go if something happens to the ship. So if the ship has any kind of major catastrophe, or it's going down, that kind of thing, you have to know where your particular location is on the ship to get on your life raft. So they kind of got rid of where you have to go out to typically you would go to one of the dinner halls, and then they kind of walk you through a video and explain to you like what to do, like in an emergency time, and where to get your life vest and all that kind of stuff. And they call that the mustard drill. And now it's on the phone, but then they still make you go down and to a particular area where your meeting area is. So it's just like, if you're in school back in the day and you have like the tornado drills, or you have, if there's a disaster drill, you got to go to your particular zone. Same thing on a ship. So that's what they're complaining about, is we should have been setting sail right now, but there's still some people that haven't done it. And per their regulations, they can't leave if somebody hasn't done it. So what they do is they'll complain for a little bit that nobody's done it, and then they'll find them and they'll kick them off the ship. So we can't leave until everybody's done it. Oh, here comes the popo. It is. Water Patrol. He obviously does not care about the no wake zone. I don't think that wake's going to really hit us too hard. This big ship. But they're getting ready to let us set sail. $4 a.m. here. We're going to get some shut-eye before breakfast. No problem, Jason. Thanks for coming out, bro. For this little quick stream. Yeah, it is a crazy view. It's really nice. It was raining here when we landed last night, so. Oh, wow. Did you guys see that? That was a, I don't know if anybody caught that, but that was another, what was that jumped out last time? Manatee? Stingray? Yeah, that was a stingray. Jumped straight out of the water. Yeah. He got some height.
Yeah, it's very cool.
He was right there.
On this side of the harbor and the other side?
Right where the boat's about to go over.
On our side?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about where
I think I caught it on video. I mean, it might be pixelated because this camera is... Yeah, why it's decent resolution. I don't know about the zoom, but I don't know if they caught the. It would have been in view. It was like down there in the bottom right hand corner. People could go back to it, but it came clean out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody caught that, but you'll be able to go back. And once it's uploaded and kind of catch that, you'll see a stingray jumping out of the water right there, over by the boat. That was some pretty awesome stuff. So that we could see the splash. We could see the splash it made. They said. There's the booze cruise. So that is, if you're in Miami, ever, you can get on that ship and it takes you around and explains like whose houses are whose. Essentially that boat's going around and doxing everybody who's all these people's houses. They kind of pull up next to it and go, oh, well, that's Tom, Cruise's house, and that's this person's house. I'm like, bro, I don't think you should be telling everybody this.
They could totally be making it up.
They're probably making it up. I mean, right? I mean, they don't know whose people's these are. They're like, oh, yeah, that's Drake's house. It's like, no, it's not. What is it right now? About 80 degrees in Miami?
That's Troy. It still says home. It's 57 degrees at home, so this is way better than that.
Yeah.
Miami Beach, 82.
'82 in Miami Beach.
What are those ships down there doing? They're like dancing.
Mr. Green says, I rewinded it. You could see it jump.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's a highly patrolled road, though. I mean, I have seen more police on this road They're probably definitely writing people tickets that come racing down it, man. I bet. So what's the hot news with Raven this year? Carl Broker says. Well, I mean, there's an airdrop that just happened with Evermore. And then there's quite a bit of development when it comes to the metaverse and Web3 space. So if you look out on what I retweeted on Twitter pretty recently, within the last couple hours, you'll see the really good ecosystem view. So it's a lot of the different entities and companies and small businesses that have been formed around the asset development side for Ravencoin. Hey, Hawk Mining Crypto, what's up, my dude? I saw your post earlier about the that I didn't let you know I was coming down here. We were on the Ravencoin cruise, my dude. It's very beautiful today down here. You should be down here on this cruise with us, my dude. Yeah, we're gonna head up here shortly and go up probably in the next hour, and then oh, I hear it. You guys might hear it too.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain, Captain Angel, speaking from the bridge. At this time, we would like to thank you for your cooperation in completing your mandatory safety briefing. We have a few more final safety points we must cover. So immediately following this announcement, the emergency signal will be sounded in compliance with the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea. No action
I might mute that, my dude.
this time. This signal is for your awareness in the unlikely event of a real emergency. Thank you for your attention, and please stand by for the emergency signal.
I can mute this, my dudes. If
After the first beep.
I'll do it after.
Oh, yeah,
my
that's
God.
really enough.
It's the horn.
It does 7 beeps and then 1 long.
If you hear the previous emergency alarm sounded, proceed directly to your assembly station. Please note that all emergency exits are
I'd be talking right now, but it's
illuminated.
so I got you, dog. $10 for crypto mining on the slot machines. I'll try to record it. We'll see.
Your specific master station will guide
Can't
you.
record in the casino.
Should you become disoriented
I can.
or need assistance,
I'll record that one
one
thing.
of our highly trained crew members using the nearest available escape route. Do not use the work. Once you have reached your assembly station, our well-trained crew members will check you in and will provide you with further instructions. Should it be necessary to evacuate the ship, your assembly station crew will assist you to the survival craft in an orderly fashion. For children between 3 and 11 years old, youth safety.
That's probably
wristbands
insanely
are
loud.
in
I'm
your
sorry,
stateroom.
guys.
Please make sure your kids are wearing their wristbands at all times. There is nothing more important than your health and safety. Our high-quality medical care includes doctors and nurses on board each sailing and state-of-the-art. Our medical team will evaluate the guests in the comfort and privacy of their stateroom or by an in-person visit call, which is San Juan in Puerto Rico. The sailing distance to San Juan will be 937 nautical miles, and we will need a cruising speed of 20 knots or 23 miles per hour. Our arrival to San Juan is scheduled for the day after tomorrow at 5 in the afternoon. Weather-wise for this evening, we're expecting partly cloudy skies with probabilities of rain showers. The wind will be blowing from the east with a speed of around 19 knots or 21 miles per hour. And the seas will be also coming from the east with a maximum height of around 1 meter or 3 feet. The expected temperature for this evening will be around 27 degrees Celsius or 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Now again, for the weather, there is a weather system, a low pressure that is scheduled to become a storm. It is now located in the Caribbean, just between Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and is heading north into the Atlantic and the Bahamas area. That is why we will take a longer route this time to go to San Juan. Normally I would go to Bahamas and have more comfort away from the low pressure. For tomorrow at sea, we expect overcast skies with probability of rain showers. The wind again will be blowing from the northeast with a speed of around 25 knots or 30 miles per hour and a high temperature of around 27 degrees. Tomorrow morning will be at 6:02. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you all a wonderful evening on board the beautiful Symphony of the Seas.
So yeah, we're taking a longer route because of the storms that are happening in the Caribbean. So see how this goes. All right, my dudes, I'm gonna wrap this up. Sorry that we didn't have a little more to cover there. We're just in the room right now. I got to get unpacked, get things put together, and then get the plan together with Tron and folks, and we'll get into it, my dudes. Peace. You guys will see. We'll try to connect when we're like in San Juan and stuff. I have international calling, so we'll see if we have some pretty good bandwidth out there. All right, my dudes.